Alright, Karina baby for September the 12th. You are 5 years, 5 months, and 2 days old today. Can you believe it? Mama can't believe it. So here's from Pick a Day, Read a Story, a year full of stories. It is some do's and don'ts. I don't like cabbage or peas in my stew. I don't like beets, but I do love you. I don't like the dark or spiders on my shoe. I don't like cobwebs, but I do love you. I don't like shopping or the color green and blue. I don't like crowds, but I do love you. That is so cute. So what don't they like? They don't like cabbage. They don't like peas, but only specifically in a stew. I'm pretty sure they eat it other times. They don't like beets, they say in general. They don't like beets. I'm sure they didn't have them cooked properly, right? They don't like the dark. They don't like spiders on their shoes. They don't like cobwebs. They don't like shopping. They don't like the colors green or blue. They don't like crowds, but they do love you. The other person probably does like all those things. And they still get along very well. Karina baby, I do love you. Alright, so our next story is The Tinderbox from the World's Best Fairy Tales. A soldier came marching along the high road, left, right, left, right. He had his knapsack on his back and a sword by his side, but he had been to war and was now returning home. The old witch met him on the road. She was very not so pretty to look at, and her upper lip hung down close to her chest. "Good evening, soldier," she said. "What a fine sword and knapsack you are wearing. You are quite a soldier. You ought to have as much money as you are able to carry." "Thank you, old witch," said the soldier. "Do you see that green tree?" said the witch, pointing to a tree beside him. "It is hollow within. You must climb up to the top, and then you will see a hole through which you can let yourself down into the tree. I will tie a rope around your waist, and I can pull you up again when you call." "What shall I do down there?" asked the soldier. "Get money," answered the witch. "Listen, when you reach the bottom of the tree, you will find yourself in a large hall. It is light, for there are more than 300 lamps burning there. There you will see 3 doors which you can open. The keys are in the locks. If you go into the first room, you will see a great chest in the middle of the floor with a dog sitting upon it. He has eyes as large as saucers, but you needn't trouble about him. I will give you my blue checked apron, which you must spread out on the floor. Then go back quickly and pick up the dog and sit him upon it. Once the chest, run to the chest, open the chest, and take as much money as you'd like. It is all copper there. If you would rather have silver, you must go into the next room, where there is a dog with eyes as large as mill wheels. But don't take any notice of him. Just set him upon my apron and help yourself to the money. If you prefer gold, you can get that too, as much as you can carry. If you go into the third room, but the dog that guards the chest there has eyes as large as a round tower at Copenhagen. He is a savage dog, I can tell you, but you needn't be afraid of him either. Put him on my apron and he won't touch you. Then you can take as much gold out of the chest as you'd like." "Come, this is not bad," said the soldier. "But what am I to give you, old witch, for surely you are not doing this for nothing. Nothing is ever done for nothing. That's the thing about life. Like, there are things that are done for nothing. You work every single day, all the time. You're making food, you're doing dishes, you're doing clothes, you're working. You're working really, really hard every single day. If you are just breathing and trying to get things organized, you are working. I don't care. You're working, right? You don't get paid for most of the things that you do. Most things that you do aren't paid things. And you have to not be too concerned about the things that you get money for. But still, nothing is ever done for nothing. When you're up and about and you're moving around, you're using every single ounce of your body. Your feet are carrying you, your legs are carrying you, your back's carrying you. Your brain is working to function, to do all these beautiful things that you're doing, right? So everything that you do is taxed within your own self as well. So nothing is ever done for nothing. Whether you're just sitting and breathing and reading somebody a book, or you're doing laundry, doing dishes, trying to help out, whatever it is that you're doing, your body is taking a task to that. Yes, I am, replied the witch. For me, you shall bring nothing but an old tinderbox, which my grandmother forgot last time she was down there. Well, then, tie the rope around my waist right now, said the soldier. Here it is, said the witch, and here is my blue checked apron. Then the soldier climbed up the tree, let himself down through the hole, and found himself standing, as the witch had said, in a large hall, where more than 300 lamps were burning. Well, he opened the first door. There sat a dog, glaring at him with eyes as big as saucers. You are a fine fellow, said the soldier, and putting him on the witch's apron, took as much copper as his pockets could hold. Then he shut the door. Then he shut the chest, put the dog on it again, and went into the second room. Sure enough, there sat the dog with eyes as large as mill wheels. You had better not look at me so hard, said the soldier. Your eyes will pop out of their sockets. He sat the dog on the apron. When he saw all the silver in the chest, he threw away the copper he had taken and filled his pockets and knapsack with nothing but silver. Then he went into the third room. Horrors. The dog had 2 eyes as large as round tower at Copenhagen, spinning around in his head like wheels. Good evening, said the soldier, and saluted, for he had never seen a dog like this before. But when he had examined him more closely, he thought, now then, I have enough of this, and put him down on the floor on the apron and opened the chest. What a heap of gold there was! With that he could buy up the whole town and all of the sugar pigs, all of the tin soldiers, whips and racket horses in the entire world. So he threw away the silver with which he had filled his pockets and knapsack, and filled them with gold instead. Yes, his pockets, his knapsack, cap, and boots, even so that he could hardly walk. Now he was rich indeed. He put the dog back on the chest, shut the door, and called through the tree, Pull me up again, old witch. Have you the tinderbox also? Asked the witch. Brethren, said the soldier, I had clean forgotten it. And he went back to fetch it. The witch pulled him up, and there he stood again, on the high road, with pockets, knapsack, cap, and boots filled with gold. What do you want to do with the tinderbox? Asked the soldier. That doesn't matter to you, replied the witch. You have your money. Give me the tinderbox. We'll see, said the soldier. Tell me at once what you want to do with it, or I will cut off your head. No! Screamed the witch. The soldier immediately cut off her head. That was the end of her, but he tied up his gold in her apron, slung the bundle over his shoulder, put the tinderbox in his pocket, and set out towards the town. So the older lady, the witch, as they're calling her, gave this soldier an opportunity to become very wealthy. Go down, you have pennies of copper, you can have nickels of silver, you can have dollars of gold. Like, he gave her nothing in return except for a severed head. Is life fair? From this story, is life fair? Life will never be fair. Just because she wanted something that belonged to her that was down in the cave, that she couldn't go and get herself for whatever reason, because if she could pull him up, she could climb up that tree and pull herself down, and maybe she didn't have somebody to pick her back up. But she wanted her tinderbox. Was that tinderbox hers? We don't know yet. Is it fair for her to even have the tinderbox? We don't know yet. But is that fair for him to get the opportunity to get money and then kill her? No, life isn't fair. The soldier immediately cut off her head. That was the end of her, but he tied up the gold in her apron, slung the bundle over his shoulder, put the tinderbox in his pocket, and set out towards the town. What a splendid town! He went straight to the finest inn and ordered the best room and his favorite dinner, for he had so much money he really was rich. It certainly occurred to the servant who had to clean his boots that they were astonishingly old for such a rich man. But that was because he had not yet bought new ones. The next day he appeared in a respectable pair and fine clothes to adorn him. Instead of a soldier, he had become a noble lord. And people told him about the great things of the town and about the king and what a beautiful princess his daughter was. "How can one see her?" asked the soldier. "She is never to be seen at all," they told him. "She lives in a great copper castle, surrounded by many walls and towers. No one except the king and queen may go in or out, for it is prophesied that she will marry a common soldier, and the king is not happy with the idea." "I should very much like to see her," thought the soldier, but he could not get permission. Now he lived most gaily, went to the theater, drove in the king's garden, and gave the poor a great deal of money, which was quite nice of him. He remembered so well how hard it is not to have a penny in the world. Being so rich, he wore fine clothes and made many friends, who said that he was an excellent man, a royal nobleman. The soldier liked that, but as he was always spending money and never made any more, at last the day came when he had nothing left but 2 shillings, and he had to leave the beautiful rooms in which he had been living and move into a little attic under the roof, clean his own boots and mend them with a darning needle. None of his friends came to visit him there, for there were too many stairs to climb. It was a dark evening, and he could not even buy a light. But all at once it came to him there that was a little end of tinder in the tinderbox which he had taken from the hollow tree. He found the box with the tinder in it. But just as he struck a spark out of the tinderbox, the door burst open, and the dog he had seen down in the tree, with eyes as large as saucers, stood before him and said, "What does my lord command?" "Do you mean what you say?" explained the soldier. This is a pretty fine tinderbox. If I can get whatever I want, get me money," he cried to the dog, and presto, he was off and back, holding a great purse of money in his mouth. Now the soldier knew what a precious tinderbox he had. If he rubbed once, the dog that sat on the chest of copper appeared. If he rubbed twice, there came the dog that which was over the silver chest. If he rubbed 3 times, the one that guarded the gold appeared. So the soldier moved back to his beautiful rooms and appeared again in splendid clothes. All his friends immediately came to see him and paid him great court. One night he thought, "It is very strange that no person can see the princess. They say she is very beautiful, but what's the use of that if she has to sit forever in the great copper castle with all the towers? I must manage to see her somehow. Where is my tinderbox?" He struck a spark, and presto, there appeared the dog with eyes as large as saucers. "It is the middle of the night, I know," said the soldier, "but I should very much like to see the princess for a moment." The dog was already outside the room, and before the soldier could look around, he came with the princess. She was lying asleep on the dog's back, and was so beautiful that anyone could see she was a real princess. The soldier could not refrain from kissing her. He was such a true soldier. Then the dog ran back with the princess. When it was morning, the king and queen were drinking tea. The princess said she had had such a strange dream about a dog and a soldier. She had ridden on the dog's back, and the soldier had kissed her. "That is certainly a fine story," said the queen. But the next night, one of the ladies in waiting was sent to watch the princess's bed, to see if it was only a dream or if it had actually happened. The soldier had an overpowering longing to see the princess again, so the dog went to the castle in the middle of the night, picked her up, and ran back as fast as he could. But the lady in waiting followed them. When she saw them disappear into the large house, she made a great cross on the door with a piece of chalk. Then she went home to bed. And the dog went back also with the princess. But when he saw the cross he'd been made on the door where the soldier lived, he took a piece of chalk and cleverly made crosses on all the doors in the town, so that the lady in waiting would not find the right house. Early the next morning, the king and queen, ladies in waiting, and officers came to see where the princess had been. "There it is," said the king, when he saw the first door with a cross on it. "No, there it is, my dear," said the queen, when she saw a door with a cross. "But here is one and there is another," they explained, for wherever they looked, there were crosses on the door. Then they realized that the sign would not help them in their search. But the queen was a very clever woman who could do a great deal more than just drive about in a coach. She took her little gold scissors, cut upon a piece of silk, and made a pretty little bag of it. Then she filled with the finest buckwheat grains and tied it around the princess's neck. When this was done, she cut a little hole in the bag so the grains would trickle along the road wherever the princess went. That night the dog came again, took the princess on his back, and ran with her to the soldier, who had fallen so much in love with her that he would have given anything to be a prince so that he might have her as his wife. The dog did not notice that the grains left a trail right from the castle door to the soldier's window, where he ran up the wall with the princess. The next morning the king and queen saw plainly where their daughter had been, and they arrested the soldier and put him into prison. There he sat. Oh, how dark and dull it was there! And besides, they had told him, "Tomorrow you are to be hanged." Hearing that did not exactly cheer him, and he had left his tinderbox at the inn. Next morning he could see through the iron gate in front of the little window the people hurrying out of the town to see him hung. He heard the drums and saw the soldiers marching. All the people were running to and fro. Just below his window there appeared a shoemaker's appearance, wearing a leather apron and shoes. He was skipping along so merrily that one of the shoes fell off and flew against the wall just at the place where the soldier was peeping through the iron grating. "Oh, shoemaker's boy, you needn't to be in such a hurry," said the soldier to him. "There is nothing going on till I arrive, If you will run back to the house where I lived and fetch me my tinderbox, I will give you 4 shillings. But you must run like the wind." The shoemaker's boy was very eager to earn 4 shillings, so he ran and brought the tinderbox to the soldier quickly. Outside the town, a great scaffold had been erected, and all around it were standing soldiers and hundreds and thousands of people. The king and queen were sitting on a magnificent throne opposite the judge and the whole council. When the soldier was standing on the top of the ladder, and they wanted to put the rope around his neck, he said that one innocent request was always granted to a poor criminal before he died. He would so much like to smoke a small pipe of tobacco. It would be his last pipe in all this world. The king could not refuse him this, and so he took out his tinderbox and rubbed it once, twice, 3 times, and lo and behold, there stood the 3 dogs. The first with eyes as large as saucers, the second with eyes as large as mill wheels, and the third with eyes as large and round towers as Copenhagen. "Save me! Don't let them hang me!" cried the soldier. Thereupon the dog fell, until the judges and the entire council seized some by the legs, others by their nose, and threw them high into the air. I won't stand this," said the king, but the largest dog seized him too, and the queen as well, and threw them up in the air after the others. This frightened the soldiers, and the people cried, "Good soldier, you shall be our king and marry the beautiful princess." Then they put the soldier into the king's coach, and there the 3 dogs danced in front, crying, "How! Hooray! Hooray!" And the boys whistled, and the soldiers presented arms. The princess came out of the copper tower and became queen, and that pleased her very much. The wedding festivities lasted for 8 days, and the dogs sat at the table and made eyes at everyone. All right, baby, there is the tinderbox. So, life isn't fair. This soldier got to have a good opportunity, and then he killed the person who gave it to him. This soldier wasn't good to the king and queen. This soldier became king. Life isn't ever fair. You'd think that he wouldn't become king just because of his mannerisms, and but he is giving out money to the poor, and he is doing some good things as well. So let's do Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious was that grace thus far, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, snarls, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Karina, today is a Saturday, and you are getting so big. You are 5 years, 5 months, and 2 days old. You're getting so big. just so big, and I can't wait to see you. But today is a Saturday, that makes it Shabbos, right? We are in the day of rest, a day of prayers, a day of food, a day of remembrance, a day of just spending time with your family. A day to just unwind and to think about our week and to reflect on ourselves to make sure that we're okay. It is a day of Shabbos. So, Shabbat Shalom is the day of rest. Shabbat Shalom is the day we love best. Shabbat Shalom. Every Friday Eve we get that Shabbos glow. Shabbat Shalom is the day of rest. Shabbat Shalom is the day we love best. Shabbat Shalom. Alright, baby. I just hope that you have a beautiful day. I pray for you all the time. Mama dreams about you a lot. I just can't wait to see you. Let's do Lila Tov. Lila Tov, and good night to you. Lila Tov, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tov, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. I love you, my baby.